crowd here tonight, still building. Of course, a Thursday night. So it'll be a bigger crowd tomorrow night, and over the weekend we are expecting some massive numbers here at Canberra. That looks just a little on the inside, and Riley Barrington agrees. So Yumamune gets a walk, the first walk of the season here at MIT Ballpark. The question coming up here from Melbourne. Now Keith Ward's going out for a look as well. Now I just wonder, we don't have enough on that effects mic that we can pick it up from here. We've got a new effects mic. I've got to say welcome to our new broadcast partners as well, and Nimic Productions. Great to have them on board for season 2019-2020. Nick and the team who will be bringing you some great pictures from around the ballpark. So I'm not sure what the conversation is here. Any idea?
That's a great first bat for the year. We'll just catch up now. I think they're talking about the length of the batting box. Mune was very far, like close to Robbie Perkins. He was right in the, well, I'd say back corner closest to the plate for the left-hander.
Well, it does look big.
But now Perkins is going to have a chat with Hoover.
Okay, so
I've got a question for you though.
Yep.
While we've got this brief break in play, the importance this year of having Zach Wilson at first, because we all know the bat, we all know the power, but he DH'd in the majority of games last year. So being able to have him out on the field and have another DH,
massive, isn't it? Absolutely huge. Chucky Robinson, who's DHing tonight, by the way, also a very good catcher. This Cavalry roster, and apologies to the Melbourne Aces fans, I'm probably going to talk more about the Cavalry roster tonight than the Aces roster, but rest assured we'll give you a bit of feedback there. And if you've got any gossip about your team, feel free to hashtag us. If you want to hashtag Cavalry Live, or at me on Twitter, CJCAU. More than happy to take your comments during the course of the call. But this Cavalry roster really well put together tonight. Chucky Robinson, probably the number three catcher in the lineup, which puts him in the mix with Robbie Perkins, Kyle Perkins. There is power hitting aplenty. We saw lots of big hits last weekend. Zach Wilson probably the highlight of that.
So as you can see, Chris, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, that's all
Coming
right.
onto the field now, you can see the grounds crew. They've got the batter's box stencil.
Okay,
and
so
the chalk. So that must be
probably one of the more unusual baseball delays. And how many times have I said this was? When you come to a game of baseball, you're going to see something that you probably have never seen before, and I don't think I've ever seen the ground being remarked after the first batter. And what do you know? That, to me, I might park the binoculars up, or if we can get a closer shot on that. Let's see if we can bring it to you, but that certainly does look like... It looks like that got painted around the outside of the frame instead of the inside of the frame for mine.
I will agree with you on that one.
There's not much else you can say, is
Look,
there?
it's just first day.
First day nerves.
It's all right. We've all got them. I must say, Chris, I've never been here for a Thursday night game.
Mm-hmm.
This crowd is quite large.
It is building. It is building. There's still plenty of people in the car park outside the left field fence. So,
is the damn milk sign still in play this year?
well, it's hanging on the fence.
All right.
Canberra Milk, one of our sponsors here on Cavalry Live. So I'm going to put 2 and 2 together, and hopefully someone comes up with a year's supply of free flavoured milk.
Right, there we go. Scraping away the original line, marking in the new line.
Well, there we go. Some ground repairs. I think we've now set a world record here, possibly the first time in baseball history that the ground repairs have had to be made after the first batter of the season.
I'll agree with that.
We're officially at 0.0 innings because we've had no outs registered. So the eagle eye of John Deeble spotting that the batting box is just a little bit beyond regulation size. They've now been remarked, and we'll get back to business here.
Maybe he just didn't like something that he saw there in Mune's at bat, but fantastic vision there by John Deeble. Great work here by Riley Barrington, just giving Hoover a couple just to warm up. After spending a few minutes waiting while we sorted that.
One thing Jim Colburn said to me prior to the game for the Aces was that the Japanese boys are very, very quick around the bases, but we've got to see them get on base. So Mooney giving himself a good lead off at first already. In the batter's box, it's Hayato Nishiura, and as did the previous at-bat, starting with a strike from the first pitch from Hoover.
Middle infielders, double play depth. There comes the throw from Perkins. He's got him.
And
You
punched out.
do not run on Robbie Perkins.
So first out at MIT Ballpark has been registered. And it is Yuma Mooney caught stealing. Robbie Perkins across to Gavin Cicchini coming across.
1-on-1 on Nishiura.
Hard hit off the glove of the pitcher and gets past the outstretched glove of Barley. So it's all the way out to centre field where Colway will pick it up. That'll be registered as a hit to 1 and or 8. Take your pick. So Melbourne, 2 batters, and they've had 2 on base. And Luke Hughes, a fan favourite in some parts of the world, and a man who has been known to antagonise some of the home fans when he's visiting, but a man who is certainly well respected and one of the giants of the game.
Probably the definition of white line fever. I see
Absolutely.
him when he's off the field interacting with the kids and even the adults who want to come and talk to him like me. Hoover set. That is just a beautiful breaking ball.
Just floated, didn't it? Just at the end, it just dropped away. Hughes having a look at what Hoover's got.
Nishiura leads away from first. Not a long lead. There we go.
He might be a little bit more cautious than his teammate now.
It's interesting you were talking about before we came on, Chris. Zach Wilson arrived a week ago, not even a week ago. The relationships that you have to form quickly and on the fly between pitcher, first base, pitcher, catcher, Hoover set. Hughes
Away
checks. Perkins goes again. He's feeling it already.
Robbie Perkins didn't get a heap of game time in Japan. Not sure if he got any game time in Japan during the Premier 12.
No, he did.
He didn't get a huge amount, but just being in that national team setup, and again, he's pushing Alan D. San Miguel all the time, pushing and pushing. Still a couple of Australian games to come this summer. We'll talk about that later as Hughes swings through, misses. They count 1 and 2.
He started 1. He caught at the end of the game against, I believe it was Cuba, where we had to win to get through the super round. Hoover set. Misses. Evens the count at 2 and 2.
Hoover's obviously done a bit of homework on Hughes and decided, I want to be low and away. I don't want to give him anything that sits up. He's really working that bottom outside corner of the zone.
Maybe that's the experience of Robbie Perkins behind the dish.
Just outside. So it takes us to another full count. It's going to go a long way back. This will be our first chance to see how Kyle Perkins goes in the outfield for the year. He allows it to bounce off the fence. He picks it up on the warning track. They're sending the runner home. So will this be the first run for the season or will it be out? The plate comes in, and I think he might have got around the outside. Has he touched the plate? He's touched the plate on the way through. Getting around the outside of Robbie Perkins has Hayato Nishiura. And the first run of the season is up, with Nishiura advancing all the way around from first off the back of that double to left field by Luke Hughes. Well, Hughes does it again, was.
Don't put it anywhere near where he can hit it. It's pretty simple. One of the most accomplished batsmen in our league, Chris. Just hung that breaking ball a little bit and Hughes got around on it. Delman Young. And he swings at the first one, fouled back towards our good mates at Snake Gully.
To the surprise of absolutely nobody, Delman Young. What a great thing it is for this league that a man like Delman Young will come out here and just play for fun.
Well, yeah. Played 2 seasons ago, was contracted to come back last year, but had other commitments and couldn't make it.
0-2 on him now, as he's had 2 pitches and 2 foul balls.
At no point, though, does Hoover think he's in front in this count. He wants to see the back of Young. Ball 1. Tried to get him to chase.
Well, you're a pitcher. You've come out here from the States. You've brought your big league experience with you. There's got to be some nerves in there because you're thinking, you know, I'm coming out here, I'm really throwing, and then the first 3 get on base. You know, you give up a walk, and the next 2 get on.
It's also
albeit one with a little bit of luck, sorry, and then out comes Delman Young.
I'm going to say 2012 ALCS MVP Delman Young.
Turns up the wicket a little, 2-2. Make that another full count. Just having some issues getting hold of game day stats at the moment, so might get you to dig up a pitch count on Young. What he's on Hoover rather, as Young swings through and misses, and there's the first strikeout of the night.
I'm at 23.
So really,
that's my.
That's okay. 23-ish. Hoover would really be looking for a quick out here. You don't really want to go 30, 35 pitches in the first inning.
Right-handed Quincy Lattimore steps in, the left fielder for the Aces.
See a lot of him in the outfield this year. Very popular man in the Australian Baseball League. Been here before. And again, Hoover starts off with a strike. Keen-eyed observers may note no shadows around today. And strike 2. Not because the sun's got down too low. The smoke haze has been well documented around Sydney. Just starting to have a little bit of an effect here in Canberra, especially late in the day, and making shadows almost non-existent.
Just outside. Hoover thought that had paid off. 1-2. I can tell you on my travel this afternoon, Chris, from the west, the smog is worse. Luke Hughes, the runner on second for Melbourne. 2 out, top of the first. Melbourne already has a run in the bank. Hoover set. High, ball 2.
So 2-2, so he'd be approaching the 30 pitch mark now.
What do you say? 2-2-2. Deuces wild.
Deuces wild.
Hoover set.
Tip of the hat to the greatest of them all. High and again. Tries the breaking pitch. It's high and dropped late. That dropped like it, well, that's a major league pitch, isn't it? That is a major league curveball that just holds up, and then drops off a cliff right at the end. Fell off the table. So 2 strikeouts. And a runner caught stealing, but Melbourne have some currency. They have a run in the bank. They lead 1-0 in the middle of the first here at MIT Ballpark. Thursday Night Baseball on Cavalry Live with Chris Coleman and Warwick Petherbridge, bringing you all the action tonight. As Sarge makes his way out in the Baildon buggy. And very nearly goes off the back of the Baildon buggy as well. Let's have a look at what's coming up by way of batting for the Canberra Cavalry. Warwick, who have we got?
I haven't learned it. Is it Geordie
Barley?
Geordie Barley, Taylor Colway, Gavin Cecchini. My apologies.
We'll go to the Italian pronunciation. The man plays for Team Italy, so we'll go Cecchini.
Zach Wilson, he bats 4. Jarek Suda, the right fielder. Kyle Perkins. The DH, Chucky Robinson at 7. Robbie Perkins at 8. Cam Warner, he rounds out the Cavalry lineup.
Around the diamond for the Melbourne Aces. As mentioned pre-game, Logan Sawyer. He's the man out there on the mound. You can see him warming up at the moment. Works a lot of movement with his pitches, I am told. Won't overpower batters with the fastball. But again, I'm told, and I have not seen him pitch before, but I'm told hard to pick sometimes out of the hand the difference between his fastball and his off-speed stuff. So that's what I can tell you about Logan Sawyer. Around the bases, it's D. San Miguel, obviously, as the catcher. Hughes at first, Dale is at second, Ellis at short, and Mooney at third base. Around the outfield, Lattimore in left, Sano in centre, and Nishiura in right field. The floodlight towers are on and starting to take effect here as we head into the bottom of the first. And a reminder, this inning here on Cavalry Live, brought to you by our good friends at TAB. Find out full details about opening an account and playing online with tab.com.au. So for the Canberra Cavalry, it's Geordie Barley, the man wandering out to see if the Cavalry can pull back the one run that they've given up to the Melbourne Aces early on this Thursday night round one fixture.
I know you're not as superstitious as I am, but as Sawyer delivers, Barley swings through, strike one. I know you're not as superstitious as I am, but have a look at the number that Geordie Barley's wearing. What number did our leadoff man wear last year? Barley fouls it back. It's quickly down 0-2. I take that as a good omen, friend. Sawyer delivers. Barley along the ground to third. Up throwing over to Hughes. And the first out is recorded. Mune didn't really have to worry about it. It was a nice high hop. Taylor Colway steps in. Centre fielder. Along the ground. Oh, that is a beautiful play. Dale diving to his right at second. Comes up with it. And all of a sudden, after 4 pitches, the Cavalry are down 2 in the bottom of the first inning. Chris Kelman, blink and you'll miss it, mate.
That's baseball for you.
Oh, high and inside.
Gavin Cicchini. Now, I'm not sure. I'm going to ask one of my crew who were here last weekend. Has he had a bit of a haircut since last weekend? I think he may have. I think he had slightly longer locks last weekend.
Maybe he's just got it tied up under his helmet.
Oh, that's a possibility too. He's got a head in the count here of Sawyer, 2-0. Good eyes taking the next one high and inside, so.
Sawyer from the wind-up. He finally gets that high inside pitch that he was looking for. 3-1.
Interesting place to put one. A 3-0 count, work inside, and Cicchini swings through at another high pitch. Takes it to a full count. Sawyer certainly making lighter work of things so far than Hoover did for Canberra in the top of the first. Cicchini, experienced campaigner. And that just stays fair. It was a long way down towards the Cavalry bullpen. Cicchini will turn it into an easy stand-up double, and the Cavs have their first man on base for 2019-2020. I think there's a lot to be said for hitting down the lines. There's a lot to be said for it.
Very true, especially a guy like Cicchini. Good leg speed. Right along the line in this ballpark. Unless the fielders are right on the line, you're pretty much guaranteed a double every time. Zach Wilson, a man that the Cavalry fans are very familiar with. He steps into the box to face Sawyer. That's high, ball one. Chris, it speaks volumes of a guy like Zach Wilson, who literally the day after last season was announced that he'd re-signed for this year.
Back to defend the capital.
Sawyer checks Cicchini.
Whoop.
Turns, but
he had a good look. Nobody was covering, but good work from Sawyer to fool him and get him back.
oh, it's all right. He doesn't have to throw.
He wouldn't have wanted to throw. It would have wound up at centre field. Sano would have had to chase in.
Wilson.
Oh.
Dale again, diving full stretch to his left over to Hughes. That is the second brilliant play that Dale has had in this inning.
Well, many moons ago, we said don't hit it to Wong. I think we can almost add don't hit it to Dale to the list of advice for batters. That's the end of the first here at MIT Ballpark. Cavalry Live, the Cavalry trailing the Melbourne Aces 1-0 Thursday night baseball.
Behind these doors, people are home. Resting, settling in, laughing. These are more than just hotel rooms. They are spaces for living. It's a home away from home, your own abode.
Welcome back to MIT Ballpark, Thursday night baseball, round one of the Australian Baseball League, game one. And I always love opening night. I love it at the start of the season when all the teams come in with a 0-0 record. And you think you know maybe a bit about some teams and maybe not so much about others. But we all set out on the great journey of discovery to find out who's got what. Canberra this year, of course, a new club when the ABL started, the second version of a Canberra team in an Australian Baseball League. But when this ABL started, the new Canberra Cavalry was founded, and this year a new look for the club was, a new logo, a new typeface on the jerseys, the horse slightly different, and
I'm looking forward to Saturday night, Chris.
Saturday night, a very special jersey.
I think we're going to have to go and get one.
Well, at the moment, only available. I don't even know they're available here at the ballpark. They're available at jerseys. They're not available. Hang on. Yes and no available at the ballpark. Not available at the ballpark, only available at Jersey's Megastore. Talk about that in a second as we get back into play. Swing at the first pitch there from Kodai Sano. And I think I may have mentioned in the warm-up that there's a bit of pace in the outfield. Just a little bit of pace in the outfield.
Taylor Colway, take a bow, my friend. If you want to endear yourself to new fans, that is the way to do it. Full stretch, diving to his opposite side. He's a left-hander. And Hoover will be thankful for that. One out here.
Well, we've seen plenty of centre fielders here at Canberra who've got some speed, as we see Ellis now takes the first pitch for strike one. We've seen plenty of centre fielders out here who've got plenty of speed, but I think Taylor Colway might be, well, possibly the second fastest of the lot. Next pitch is low and on the inside.
I like that. You've given a hot take based on 4 outs, and you'll stick to it.
Well, I did get to see him
last weekend.
So
Hoover delivers. Ellis takes that again inside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Hoover just working it along the bottom of the zone, staying low, other than that last pitch to Lattimore in the first inning. Gets through the protection behind the dish from Robbie Perkins. No damage will be done. There's no runners on base. So those pre-season games last weekend, the practice games, Canberra were 3-0 down against Sydney early. Swing through for strike 2 from Ellis. 3-0 down, came out, levelled it up, and then went absolutely berserk in the 6th and added 7 runs. Just really lit the park up Saturday afternoon last week. Won the second game, I think it was 6-2 from memory. And punched ticket. So that's the 3rd strikeout for JJ Hoover. And Mitchell Ellis. Well, I've got a feeling that this man on the mound may wind up having quite a few Ks by the end of the season. But he's got 3 so far tonight out of 5 outs, and in comes Alan de San Miguel. This will be a battle. De San takes the first pitch, has a look. It adds something else too. It adds another dynamic to the ABL this season. The fact that the national team, with players sprinkled from a lot of clubs, goes for the breaking ball, sits up and then drops off the table again. Maybe not as high as the first one, but certainly plenty of late downward movement on it. 0-2. And then he goes for
8.
The velocity at the top. Sorry, say again?
8 first pitch strikes for Hoover. They've either fouled off line day or just watched it.
And that's to 8 different batters.
Decent.
Little hopper into foul territory. And Robbie Perkins, very clever Robbie Perkins there, just batting it away. So it couldn't take the wicked spinning turn that sometimes you get off the edge of the grass, where it'll suddenly hit the edge of the grass and skip back into fair territory. Smart play from Perkins. But yeah, so the Team Australia players, that Team Australia roster, most of them will be turning out in the ABL as well. So they'll be coming in perhaps a little bit more game ready than in past seasons. As De San Miguel swings through, strikes out. 4 strikeouts for the Melbourne Aces tonight. JJ Hoover will like that. He won't like the fact that they're behind, but there's still plenty to go in this one. We're at the middle of the second here at MIT Ballpark. And it is 1-0 to the Melbourne Aces over the Canberra Cavalry. So we'll go around with Suter, Perkins and Robinson for the Cavalry in just a moment. But yeah, so again, as I was saying, was the Team Australia players, they'll be a little bit more game ready. Instead of coming in off the back of maybe just a couple of scratch matches or playing in the States and then some downtime, they've actually been playing in a proper tournament. It adds to the league, I think, this year.
Of course, Chris, without a doubt. Especially coming back from that Premier 12, going back to their clubs. And as you said, more national team baseball over the summer, which is nothing but a good thing for the game in our country. But
so what we've got, I should explain what we've got there while we're waiting for this to come up, is there should be an Oceania qualifier. Now that may wind up being one game between Australia and New Zealand.
And then you go to the rest of the world group in April?
Yeah. Guam may turn up. I don't know who else there is available. I know American Samoa has an official world ranking, but I don't know how many players they've got available at the moment. But so there should be an Oceania qualifier, and the winner of that goes to the rest of the world qualifier, which is going to be a mighty, mighty tournament in March in Taiwan.
Is Keith Ward playing with us?
Why?
Look, so Jarek Suter, but then you've got Cole Perkins.
Yep.
Chucky Robinson.
Yeah.
Robbie Perkins.
Yeah.
That's a tongue twister. Say that 5 times real fast.
I'm going to try not to.
Sawyer looked good in his first innings. I'm really interested to see how he follows up. Of course, with a couple of lovely assists from Jared Dale at second base. And that was the thing. It wasn't just one way. He went both. First play to his right from Taylor Colway. And then Zach Wilson the other way. Jarek Suter steps in.
Let's see what he's got, the big right-hander.
That's popped out to right. Ishiura right back on the track for the first out. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Logan Sawyer won't be complaining about that at all.
JJ Hoover may have something to say about that if they keep rushing him back out there. But I must say, it's wonderful to look around this ballpark, Chris. As you said, celebrating a new year and a new culture and a new logo to back that up. But to see the jerseys and the caps of all generations of the Cavalry, as that is a called strike 1 on Kyle Perkins. Stuff from the very beginning. And Perkins is quickly down 0-2. Curveball caught the outside corner. Sawyer is motoring. Just missed. Perkins goes down swinging. And all of a sudden, and this is the man you alluded to in the show earlier, Chucky Robinson, affiliated with the Texas Rangers. Steps into some big DH boots this year, but from what I've heard is a very good hitter.
Very good hitter, very good catcher. So let's see what he's got. With 2 outs, not waiting, plenty on that. It goes off into Snake Gully. We've got some unofficial velocity numbers.
As that's high.
So being told Sawyer, roughly speaking, fastball at about 89 average so far tonight. Off speed between 78 and 81. Which is about what we were expecting. That's going to go a long way back. Right fielder under it. Yeah, sorry, Nishiura gets it right on the warning track. So 3 up, 3 down for the Cavalry, and that's the last 4 who've been sat down. And that's our second inning. And of course, we should thank another of our fabulous sponsors here. And great thanks to our great friends at Abode Hotels. There's an Abode Hotel just over the fence here, actually, at Narrabundah. Very, very close. If you're ever coming to Canberra and you want to get yourself some accommodation, should mention if you're planning on coming up here, I don't know if anyone from Adelaide's watching us this evening, but if you are coming over to watch the Adelaide Giants, the renamed Adelaide Giants this season, be prepared for that and get your accommodation booked now, because it does clash with Summer Nats, and accommodation gets pretty scarce around Canberra at Summer Nats time. So great thanks to Abode Hotels, amongst our sponsors here at the Cavalry.
I'm going to say that this is just, you know, it's time to head up, but I'm starting to see a few bodies heading out of the Cavalry dugout up to the bullpen. JJ Hoover allowed a run in the first. Gave up the walk and a hit. Then the RBI double to Luke Hughes. I don't know how many times in the history of Australian baseball you've said RBI double to Luke Hughes. Jared Dale, he will lead off for Melbourne. And back to the top of the order with Yuma Mune and Hayato Nishiura.
So Jared Dale, the next man up. He's just electric in the field. And there you go. Hoover completes the set. 9 batters, 9 first pitch strikes. I believe the phrase is nothing to be sneezed at. The 0-1. I think he's working the more the off-speed stuff here against Jared Dale.
0-2. This will be up. He'll be going climb the ladder.
Fastball hit hard to Cecchini at short and across to Wilson. And 6-3 out completed, so there's the first out in the bottom of the third. If you've just joined us, Melbourne got on the board in the first. It was Hayato Nishiura who scored their first run of the year. He got on base with a single to left field, and then it was a Luke Hughes double to left that brought him around.
So if you're playing Was Bingo while Chris was away, there's your first square.
I heard you give us the rap. Hard hit up the middle. It's just going to skip away from Cecchini. Picked up by Colway. And Yuma Mune, who hung around for quite a while in his first at-bat, his second at-bat, or his first plate appearance, I should say, because he got a walk in the end. This time he just takes one pitch and gets on.
Let me ask Manager Coleman a question. Do you run the gauntlet again with Mooney? Do you send him again?
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out how keen he is. I reckon he's about a foot shorter on his lead off, although now he's taken an extra step. Fly ball going to right field. Coming in is Suter. Going out is Barley, and it's Barley who takes the catch. So a bit of a pop to deep 4. And that's 2 down.
I was saying while you were just over fixing something, I just said, I think the most repeated phrase in Australian baseball is RBI double to Hughes.
Yeah, there's plenty of them. Plenty of them.
He steps in again.
Well, he's done it once tonight. Can he do it again? Luke Hughes doesn't take the first pitch, has a big swing, sends it off into Snake Gully. Had dinner with some of the Cavalry Japanese players during the week. I'll tell you, if you want to get to a great restaurant while you're here in town, Natural 9 at the Canberra Casino. Oh, holy Nelly. The food there, awesome. But had a feed with the Japanese boys there, and had to try and explain to them about Snake Gully and why it's called Snake Gully. And yeah, I think eventually it got through in translation.
Don't go in there.
Don't go in there. Don't go chasing balls in there. Don't go climbing the fence.
0-1. And that's right field. That's going to be in foul territory. And that's gone.
Well, Suter was having a go at it, but short of vaulting the fence into the bullpen, was never going to get there. 0-2 now the count for Hughes.
Now, Chris.
Yes.
We're talking about maybe do we give him another go? I think we do. Nune, before that ball landed, which was a foul in shallow right field, was already at third.
Well, it's the 0-2 pitch here, so I don't think will be hanging around. 0-2, 2 outs, takes a couple of steps. Robbie Perkins awake to it. Zach Wilson was ready for the throw, but the thing about Mooney is he's not just fast going up, he's fast coming back and got down, slid back into first. 1-2 now on Luke Hughes.
Short of lead for Mooney. Low and outside. Hoover set. And he goes high. So all of a sudden, count's full, which means, regardless, Mooney is motoring on this pitch.
Yeah, he'll be going. He won't hang around.
You've got the pitch, I've got the leg speed.
You go with Mooney, I'll go with the pitcher. Hoover pitches, Hughes fouls it away. All comes to Norton, we'll go back again.
Three and 2. Hoover would love this pitch to get out of here. Mooney at first. There he goes again. Hughes has hit that hard. Colway is back in centre. He's still going back. He's at the wall. Takes it about, I don't know, a foot inside the wall.
It's nice to be able to hit a ball 398 feet. The problem is when the home run fence is exactly 400 away. Hey. Well taken by Colway. He's taken a couple of good catches out there, and that's the middle of the third. Canberra, they trail at the moment. Melbourne have 1 on the board. They lead 1-0 at MIT Ballpark. Thursday night, ABL action.
I put that there. Have you tried the great? Yeah, I've tried it all.
So who are you backing in this game?
With their three-point shooting.
Guys, relax. I got this.
Don't want to miss a second of the action this season? With Tabs Basketball Live Vision, you can stream games and access exclusive previews for free, anytime, anywhere.
Whoa, don't splash the box.
Yeah, don't splash the box, bro.
Who are you backing this NBA season? Tab. Download the app today.
Cavalry Live, Thursday night baseball in the nation's capital. Chris Coleman and Warwick Petherbridge bringing you the play-by-play tonight as it's Melbourne up against Canberra here. And this third inning brought to you by Chambers Law Firm. Chamberlain's lawyers, great supporters of the Cavalry. Great to have them back on board for season 2019-2020. In case you missed it, the early game in the ABL, Perth picked up a 6-1 win over there in Auckland against the Tuatara.
That new stadium they have looks amazing, and you'll be there.
In a fortnight, I'm hanging for that. I am hanging out for that trip. Dylan Unsworth, 10 strikeouts, complete game.
Robbie Perkins is in
the 7-inning game over there, and Perkins, he's got hold of plenty of this. It's going to fall just into fair territory. Probably robbed Robbie there. It was actually further into fair territory than I thought, and Nishiura takes it on the hop. But Robbie Perkins gets the lead-off single to start things going in the bottom of the third.
Cam Warner. You just sense that Cam Warner's going to have a breakout year this year. I just feel that this is the year that Cam Warner is just going to just start putting it all together and set this league on fire. He steps in to face Sawyer. And that's high and inside, ball one.
He'll be able to make third base all his own this year.
Sawyer set. And Warner has lined that into the gap. That'll go for a hit as well. So back-to-back hits, and all of a sudden, the Cavalry, who were quiet in the first two innings, they have something going, Chris. Runners at first and second. None out, and we're back to the top of the lineup. Geordie Barley.
I was reminiscent again of last week, that first game in the doubleheader against Sydney. Canberra a little bit slow to get underway with the bats, but they lit it up as that game progressed.
And so just for those at home, Robbie Perkins, he's the runner at second. Cam Warner at first, and don't let it be underestimated, those two have got some good leg speed.
Oh, yeah.
Sawyer delivers. And he's hit the outside corner there on Geordie Barley. On one. And he's lined that into right field.
Well, Canberra about to tie this up.
Nishiura, he's gone all the way back to the fence. They're not only going to tie it up, they're going to take the lead, because here comes Cam Warner all the way from first. Barley is into third with a diving triple. And all of a sudden, as I said, Chris, get something going.
Well, when you said that Robbie Perkins and Cam Warner had plenty of speed around the bases, I was tempted to say something about Geordie Barley, but I thought I'd just wait and see what happened. And yeah, there's plenty of speed in this cavalry lineup, plenty of foot speed. And Perkins getting the 180 feet home, Cam Warner getting the 270 feet home, and Geordie Barley, well, running 260 and then sliding the last 10 face first and getting into the bag under the throw from Nishiura.
Sawyer delivers to Colway, high and outside, ball one, Taylor Colway. Already a sensational catch in the second inning. So Geordie Barley, he's the man at third. Sawyer delivers, and that's low. And we talked about earlier, JJ Hoover threw a lot of pitches and had to get himself out of a jam. Now let's see what Sawyer's got. And that is a high chopper. Dale charges, he's gloved that beautifully. Throws it over to Hughes at first, but not before Barley scores from third. And it is now 3-1 Canberra.
And there's a whole buzz about the crowd now, isn't there, Was? There's a real buzz. This Cavalry side, they've taken the lead, and suddenly looking just to that a little bit sharper.
Cicchini steps in. And that's inside. And I think that's the thing in my very limited time as a pitcher, Chris, that I hated the most is when You know, your 8-9 guys score, and then all of a sudden you're in a hole and you're down. And now here comes the meat of the lineup. Sawyer fires, but he gets that curve in there. 1-1. Cicchini has lasered this. That's in right field as well. Nishiura is back. That is off the wall. And Cicchini is into second again with another stand-up double.
We certainly get well acquainted with the outfielders here. This man, Gavin Cicchini, went to left field the first time around. Now he goes to right field. He'll be looking to complete the set to centre at some stage tonight, or maybe just bypass the double and go over the outside fence as we get
we have
the first
missed
visit to the
something here,
mound.
Chris, because I don't think it's a visit. I think we're about to get a change. The pitching coach has made the signal. I did not notice the action in the Aces bullpen, but I think we've just been. He signalled something.
Well, you can see the Aces bullpen from your side of the box. I have to lean around a post from where I am.
Sorry to everyone watching at home. Chris and I are on the other side of the commentary box this year, so we've just got to reverse the angles.
The angles are a little bit different for us this year. We still have no view at all of the Cavalry bullpen. That remains the great mystery for us.
Actually, I don't think maybe it wasn't the change. Maybe it's the signal to get in and warm up.
It wouldn't be unheard of for a pitching change to happen in the bottom of the third, but
No, there is now. There is throwing. I can see it in the Aces bullpen. Sorry, I thought it was the signal for the pitching change, but obviously it was the pitching coach saying, have a throw, but you won't see it, Chris. It's the stand is blocking our view.
awesome.
And here is Zach Wilson. All of a sudden, one out. Cicchini is the man at second. Sawyer. And fouled off by Zach Wilson. He cruised through the first and the second, Sawyer. He's hit a bit of a speed bump here in the third. All of a sudden, Canberra have tacked on 3 quick runs. Perkins, Warner, and Geordie Barley. Welcome to the capital, mate. 2 RBI triple. Good way to introduce yourself. Sawyer turns to pick. No one's there.
They had a go at Cicchini. Last time Cicchini was at second as well.
It is a very long lead at second base from Gavin Cicchini.
You don't see a lot of pitchers in this league turn around and threaten the runner at second, do you? Wilson swings through. You don't see a lot of that chasing after the runner at second in this league, so that's a point of difference for Logan Sawyer.
Trying his best to bluff and hold Cicchini closer to the bag. It's not working. Wilson down 0-2. Sawyer set, checks Cicchini. And Wilson has lined that up the middle. That has gotten under the glove of Ellis. Cicchini is rounding third. He's going to come home. 4-1 Cavalry.
So the Cavs just decided to take a little bit of time to warm up, and now a couple of laps into the race, they've shifted down a gear and put the foot down to accelerate.
Jarek Suter, the right fielder. Hopefully he's stepping up to the plate after watching his teammates in this inning, hoping he can get in on the action. And he's popped that up. The San Miguel, he's thrown the mask off. And he's got that for the second out.
So Suter goes from a fly 9 in his first at bat to a fly 1 in his second.
Fly 2, Chris.
A fly 2, apologies, yeah. Hits it about as far as you can, and then not very far at all. Same result. You gotta love baseball.
As the familiar strains of even flow enter around the ballpark, that means Kyle Perkins is in the box. Wilson, the runner at first, 2 down. And that breaking ball again. Strike 1. On 1, Zach Wilson. He's the man at first. Sawyer set. That's inside. Ball one. So quickly, if you've just tuned in and missed an inning, or you've just gone to get yourself some dinner, Robbie Perkins with a single to right field, then Cam Warner the single to left field, and then all of a sudden Geordie Barley hits a 2 RBI triple. And there's the pick. Wilson had it covered easy. And then Taylor Colway, he ground out, but on the ground out to second baseman Jared Dale. Barley managed to score. Kyle Perkins swings through again on that breaking pitch, 1 and 2. And Cicchini doubled for the second time tonight. And then on the single by Zach Wilson, Cicchini scored. So we're at 4-1, 1 and 2. And that's high and inside, 2 and 2. Here at Cavalry Live. Happy to have you with us. Count is 2 and 2. Sawyer is set. He wants to get out of this. And he throws that pitch to Kyle Perkins again. A very late called strike 3. We are at the bottom of 3. It is Canberra 4, Melbourne 1 here on Cavalry Live. And here we are back at MIT Ballpark. JJ Hoover. See how he now goes. He had a bit of a rest that inning.
Well, how much does it change a pitcher's mindset now? He's gone out there, he gave out a run early, gave up a run early and was pitching from behind now, thanks to the...
Not only pitching from behind, Chris, but that first inning he threw near 30 pitches. But now all of a sudden you get the second win and he's just going to come straight at these Aces batters. And the test to start with is probably one of the hardest of them all. The DH Delman Young, he will lead off, followed by the left fielder Lattimore. And then centre fielder Cody Isano. Young steps in. He struck out in his first at bat. Here comes Hoover. I tell you what, Chris. I'm just scratching this down. That's 13 hitters in a row. But he's got to strike one, whether it's called, whether it's a foul. Hoover again. Just misses high and outside. 1 and 1. The floodlights taking over here at MIT Ballpark. Fouled back. Behind us and out of play. The count is 1 and 2. I do like as well, Chris. You've got the players' names on the back of their jersey this year. Makes it easier if you're like me and a little blind. There's another one fouled back by Delman Young.
I think it's essential marketing for a league like the ABL where players come and go. So we don't necessarily know all of the players. You know, for Canberra, you know, we know who the Perkins boys are. We know who Candless is when he's out there. We know Zach Wilson's back for a second year, but
Hoover high, tried to climb the ladder. Young was there and fouled it off. Count is still 1 and 2.
But for players like Cicchini and Barley, I think there's potential for him in 5 years' time to be one of those players that we talk about. at a much higher level and say, you know, back in the day you used to play here in Australia, as we see the next one in the dirt. So for players, for fans to be able to very quickly identify who's who out there, it'll stick in their memory for a considerable period as well.
2-2. Here comes Hoover. Young has gotten underneath that breaking
Oh.
pitch. It is out into centre field. Colway at the wall. One hops, tries to barehand. Young looks but will not go. And what an arm from Taylor Colway out at centre field. But Delman Young, he's there with a stand-up double.
I think every double so far has been a stand-up, hasn't it? Haven't seen anyone having to slide into second. They've all made it fairly comfortably.
Well, he did turn and look. And that's the other side of it, being a base runner and not knowing some of these guys. As Lattimore puts that into left field, Kyle Perkins takes it on the one hop, and what a throw into Cam Warner. Holds the runners, so Young goes to third. Lattimore, he's on first, and all of a sudden, Melbourne attacking.
It's early in the season to say it's a heavyweight fight, but that's what you've got, isn't it? You've got Melbourne came out with the early punch. Canberra have come back with another couple. And now Melbourne coming back.
Cody Isano, he lined out, and that was the great catch by Colway back in the second. Hoover delivers. Robbie Perkins again, great block in the dirt. Keeps, and that, Chris, that breaks the streak.
No,
First pitch ball that only took 15 hitters.
no.
Only took 15 hitters, which is, funnily enough, is the number on his back.
There we go.
One ball on Sano.
Stays high. So Sano, the only man to have a 2-0 count for the Aces so far tonight. Previous at bat was a fly to centre.
It's more like a laser.
Well, does he have a go here with a 3-0 count and runners at the corners? And none out. What do you reckon?
No, there's no green light here, Chris. Not with none out. Not with none out. I'll make Hoover. There you go. No green light.
Hoover gets the called strike. So the count goes to 3-1.
Hoover working from the set. Along the ground, he's got Delman Young hung up. And Delman Young is tagged out on the 1-5. So Lattimore moves to second. That's the first out. Lattimore moves to second. And Asano goes to first on the fielder's choice.
I was set for the whole pickle thing to go there.
Now all of a sudden, we'll see what Hoover's got. You've got Cicchini and Barley as your middle infielders. All of a sudden they'll set deep because the double play ball comes into effect to get you out of this jam. Ellis steps in. He struck out in his first at bat. And he lines that up the middle of the centre. That's a base hit. Colway, he picks it up. He comes up throwing. And all of a sudden...
All trouble.
I said it. I said that he's got an arm. And all of a sudden...
Just as he got an arm, but he's got smarts as well. Threw that into the cut-off man, so that there was
Zach
potential
Wilson
to play around the other place.
So Zach Wilson comes in. He's the cut-off man. All of a sudden, when the runners are shifting that way, your first baseman's your cut off. Colway comes up throwing. An absolute strike to Zach Wilson, and all of a sudden he just looks over and another runner for Melbourne picked off on the 8 to 3 to 5.
How's your scorebook looking?
Fantastic.
There's some good stuff on there now, isn't there?
Well, you got to credit Ellis with the hit.
You do. It was a hit.
But once again, that man again, Taylor Colway, a brilliant catch, and now all of a sudden he's throwing out runners. And Canberra, who are in a bit of trouble, have got 2 out and a chance to get out of this, but it's D-San. Alan D-San Miguel steps in.
I'd love to know how many times this man's come up with 2 outs and 2 on and just turned it on. A very quick chat with him before the game. As he goes fly ball off into Snake Gully. The runners were off too, just quietly.
2 out, mate. Track of the bat.
Yep. Had a quick chat with him. He's happy to be back for another ABL season.
One and one. The San Miguel once again gets under it.
Right.
1 and 2 the count. 2 out here. Top of the 4th inning. 6 hits apiece. Canberra, though, have more runs. Tried to climb the ladder, but Alan D. San Miguel is too smart for that. 2 and 2.
Showing great patience in the box, as you'd expect from him.
And he has put that into right field. But back around there is Jerick Suter, and he takes the line drive for the 3rd out. And all of a sudden, after Melbourne had a couple of runners, Canberra gets out of the situation.
Not quite a jam. We'd call it I think situation is a good call.
I don't know. I'm on the fence, Chris, because when you had runners at 1st and 3rd and none out, and the other team doesn't score, that's a good spot to be in.
We'll debate it in a moment when we come back, but right now, as we move towards the bottom of the 4th, the home team, they lead 4 runs to 1. Canberra over Melbourne on Thursday night ABL action on Cavalry Live.
Behind these doors, people are home. Resting, settling in, laughing. These are more than just hotel rooms. They are spaces for living. It's a home away from home, your own abode.
Back in MIT Ballpark, bottom of the 4th, and it's the question, Chris Coleman, jam or situation?
I'll come back to it in a second. We say a very big thank you to our 4th inning sponsors, Rolf Motors, particularly Rolf Subaru. I drive a Rolf Subaru.
I know you do.
It's a very nice car, my Subaru Outback, and you might just notice as the season develops a few more things about Subaru and Rolf Subaru around this ballpark as the season progresses. But yeah, jam or situation was. Jam or situation. I go for situation only because the Cavs had 3 runs to play with. So a home run would have tied it all up, but a double would have scored 2 runs, but Canberra still would have been in front.
See, if you're 2 out, I say maybe situation. None out, runners at 1st and 3rd, jam. But once again, shows.
So you don't take the scoreboard, the scoreboard into account when you're deciding if it's a jam or not?
I tell you, no pitcher wants 1st and 3rd and none out. Sawyer it again. There's Chucky Robinson. I'm liking this. Have a look at Chucky Robinson, Chris.
What am I looking for? Was?
Look at the hands. I think he's the only man on this field tonight not wearing batting gloves.
That's a possibility.
I think Zach Wilson has a little bit of tape. 0-1 as Sawyer comes in again, and Robinson puts that on the ground towards Ellis at short. He comes up firing. Luke Hughes literally had to jump about 3 feet in the air and brings it down for the first out.
That's the advantage of having a veteran at first, a man who just doesn't get flustered by anything. Might lose his cool, but doesn't get flustered. Does that make sense?
Jam or situation.
Exactly.
Robbie Perkins. He's in to face Sawyer. Cold strike on the outside.
I'm batting 1,000 at the moment. Here's Robbie Perkins.
It's always good when you can do that. You can get your first hit of the season. Sawyer again. That's high and inside. That's ball one. 1-1. Check swing by Perkins. Fouled off. And quickly 1-2. Robbie Perkins, 1-2. And he's fouled it back.
I always wait when they come back in that direction because that's pretty close to where we are. We wait to see whether it's going to land on the roof above us. That one hit with enough that it's gone further back and probably into Snake Gully as well.
Low and outside, and that looks like it's hit Alan D. San Miguel on the hand. Shakes his hand a couple of times.
Now, did you follow some of the experimental rules that were brought in, I think it was the Atlantic League?
Oh, with the robotic strike zone.
Did he go?
No, he did not.
Glad you can answer that because I can't see the first base umpire. He's directly behind a pole from where I'm standing.
Oh, I answered it and then saw the first base
Okay.
umpire. Count is full on Robbie Perkins.
It's always dangerous to do that, was.
I know.
Full count, 3-2. Perkins takes high ball and gets a walk. So still batting 1,000. But was one of the experimental rules about stealing first?
Yeah.
What were the conditions there? Could you go at any time? Or did you have to have a couple of strikes? I didn't pay a great deal of attention to it because I didn't really like it as much of a rule. I did see a YouTube video of a batter actually doing it, which I thought was interesting.
Cam Warner, he steps in. And that's high for ball one. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we open this up to the forum, Chris? You can tweet us with the hashtag Cavalry Live. What is Chris Coleman talking about? The stealing of first base. Warwick wants to know. Sawyer is set. Perkins at first. Cam Warner has lasered this to deep right field. And that is gone for the first home run of the season. Cam Warner.
Pops it out over the right field fence. First home run of the year. It's a 2-run home run as Robbie Perkins dots around the park, and Stradamus perhaps strikes for the first time in season 2019-2020. Said during Cam Warner's first at-bat, this man is possibly on the verge of a breakout season. Well, he's come out and he's got a single in his first at-bat and a 2-run home run in his second at-bat. So he's doing quite nicely, thank you very much.
Wonderful piece of hitting. All of a sudden, Canberra 6-1. Geordie Barley, he steps in for his third at bat.
You'll be sitting. Hang on, I got a couple of RBIs last time I was out here. Now the bases are clear.
I don't know. When you're into your third at bat as the leadoff man and it's only the fourth inning. Sawyer. He's set. And 1-2 the count on Barley. He was the man with the 2 RBI triple in the last inning. Started the run for the Cavalry. Sawyer outside in the dirt. Great blocking job by D. San Miguel. If there's any young catchers out there that want to know how to block, just watch this man. Watch his glove, watch his feet. Textbook. 2-2. And low and outside again. Count is full. Sawyer set. Full count on Geordie Barley. And he's got under this one as well. This could be back-to-back. Nishiura is back at the wall. It's gone. 7-1 Cavalry. And Geordie Barley, all of a sudden, he's halfway to a cycle in the 4th inning, and he's got the 2 hardest ones already in the book.
Something to look out for here at MIT Ballpark. I do like Nishiura, the right fielder for the Aces, ran out towards the fence, jumped up, grabbed hold of the fence, watched the ball sail a good 10 feet or more over his head, and decided to just hang off the fence for just a moment as that just continued to sail and sail down towards field 2. 2 home runs, back-to-back batters doing it for the Canberra Cavalry. And this may be the end of the night for Sawyer on the mound. Indeed it is. We have only very limited access to stats tonight, so it may be up to you to generate some pitching lines for us as the night goes on, but we get our first pitching change for the night. Sawyer started well, but I think Robbie Perkins and Cam Warner in pretty good form with the bat. And Sawyer, well, it's the old saying, isn't it? The third time through the lineup is when a pitcher starts to struggle, and, well, Barley just, on his third attempt, really had a go. And 2 home runs, both to right field, and the home side up by 6 early on this opening night affair here at MIT Ballpark. We might sneak our commercial break in from the end of this inning now, thanks to our friends at University of Canberra, and then come back with more ABL action from Canberra with the Cavs leading the Aces 7-1.
If you're about to make university decisions, make sure you stand out from the crowd. UC is ACT's #1 uni for graduate employment and starting salaries. UC has work placements in every degree. UC is designed specifically for Canberra and the region. Run your own race at the University of Canberra. Apply now, get UC qualified, and run circles around the rest.
And we are back at MIT Ballpark. Canberra all of a sudden 7-1. Scott Minchinson is the man who's been given the call by John Deeble, and he's got to quiet these bats that all of a sudden have come to life.
Well, we've seen plenty of Scott Mitchinson in this league in the past.
Taylor Colway, he does have an RBI, but he's the only one that hasn't joined the hit parade yet.
Colway, the right-hander.
Colway is a left-hander.
Sorry, Mitchison, the right-hander on the mound too. Colway, the left-hander in the box. What's Mitchison got for the first pitch? He needs to be on target early here because this Canberra side there now really starting to do their thing and do it nicely. First pitch was high and away. What's the second?
Inside. 2-0. And this is what we were talking about before, Chris Coleman. This lineup has a lot of bats and a lot of leg speed. Mitchinson delivers, and Colway has gotten up and under one. This is heading back to right field. Nishiura is climbing the wall again, and it is gone. Back to back to back.
That was a monster. That was an absolute rocket. I don't think it was still going up when it got to the foul pole, but it was certainly still just on the level. That's landed somewhere over near Canberra Airport. Can someone ring air traffic control and make sure they know there's something incoming? Canberra lead 8-1. Only other time I can recall back-to-back-to-back home runs was the Championship Series in Adelaide a few years back. I don't know if it's been done elsewhere.
Cicchini steps in. The man has 2 doubles. And he faces Mitchinson, who delivers. Breaking ball hits the inside corner. Strike one. If they didn't have your attention about an hour ago, these Cavalry bats do now. Throws the curve ball again, misses low. 1-1 on Cecchini. Well, if you're going to introduce yourself to a new fan base, take a screamer, have an outfield assist, and then hit a towering home run. Cecchini, ball high, and all of a sudden the count is 2-1. Taylor Colway, take a bow, my friend. And it's only the fourth inning.
Awesome, isn't it?
2-1 the count on Cecchini. Mitchelson delivers. Comes in high, called strike two. Two and two is the count on Cecchini, shortstop. As you alluded to, former major leaguer with the Mets. Mitchelson delivers. Cecchini, he wanted that one. Fouls it back. So if you're not here at MIT Ballpark tonight and you're in the vicinity, I highly suggest that you get down here this weekend. As we alluded to, Saturday night, Chris Coleman.
Going to be huge.
The jerseys, the capital. Mitchelson. He delivers, and Cecchini again, he's under it, but that's out there in centre field. Sano underneath it for out number two. So two out. Zach Wilson. He steps in. He grounded out to Dale in the first on that sensational second play that Dale had. Mitchelson delivers for a called strike one. And then he had the RBI in the third that brought Cecchini home from second. 0-1. And along the ground, great backhanded play by Mune. Takes that, fires over the diamond to retire Wilson in the side, but not before the Cavalry tack on four more. It is 8-1 Cavalry over the Aces here on Cavalry Live.
Amazing inning, amazing inning. And yeah, I'm pretty sure, I'm perfectly willing to stand corrected, and if anyone can supply me with more information. Certainly the only time I can recall seeing back-to-back-to-back home runs in this league was the Championship Series when Perth knocked over Adelaide a few years back. They went back-to-back-to-back. I don't have my scorebook from that night here, but that was a tremendous night at the old Adelaide ballpark, or at the old Norwood Oval. But to see that in the flesh, that is just truly amazing. And to see it on opening night in front of this Canberra Cavalry faithful, that is just super special. Sarge's Saloon area down by the third baseline is absolutely jam-packed, I don't know whether you can see it from your vantage point. I don't think there's a spare seat in there. Third base bleachers have certainly filled up since the start of the game. First base bleachers not quite full, but the best part is the overflow area down past the Grease Monkey Burger van and the Ben Spoke Bar. Certainly plenty in the overflow area down there. So plenty here tonight for opening night. We don't get baseball here for another couple of weeks. Then we got a road trip coming up. Perth next week, at Auckland the week after.
Get it out of the way early, Chris.
Doing those back to back, and they always say it's eastbound travel that the jet lag is the worst. So that's going to be interesting, going from Perth to Canberra. I don't know whether we're going to go straight from Perth to Auckland or whether it'll be Perth to Canberra for a few days and then over to Auckland. The Raiders this year in the National Rugby League went over to Auckland and spent a week over there and then absolutely spanked the New Zealand side in the NRL. So I don't know whether Canberra's got that as a plan for the baseball. It's a long road trip, and then we come back in week 4 up against Sydney. And yeah, that's going to be quite exciting. Back to the live action here as we go into the top of the 5th with Cavalry leading 8-1 as Hoover is pitching to Jared Dale and gets a strike to start things off just for a change.
He's back in his rhythm. One and one, the count on Dale. And there is that curve again. 1 and 2.
There's something different about his curveball. I just can't put words on it. Maybe it's just that it's a very, very late curve, hey?
It almost looks, as Dale strikes out on the fastball, it almost looks like to me, and I'm not a pitching expert and definitely stand to be corrected, it looks like a knuckle curve. A lot of pitchers in the major leagues now throw this pitch as it puts less pressure on your arm and it does give you that late break. Might see if I can sneak a word with him tomorrow and find out what that is. Yuma Mune, he steps in. And that's inside. Mune, he got a walk, but then got gunned out at second by Robbie Perkins in the first. He did have a single to centre field in the third. Hoover delivers. That's a traditional curve. That's your 12-6 curve right there. Whereas the pitch that my colleague was alluding to a moment ago, it hangs high and just drops into that top half of the zone. I think it's a knuckle curve. Hoover delivers. There's the fastball, high chopper to Barley at second. He takes it on the 2-hop, fires over to Wilson and gets the out on the 4-3. 2 out. Here comes Hayato Nishiura. So in the last inning, he got a bit of sightseeing. He was watching the ball go over the wall and getting to check out some of the gorgeous landscape around MIT Ballpark. He steps in. He is responsible for Melbourne's run as he takes ball 1. He had the single and then scored from first on the double from Luke Hughes. So we know he's got the speed. Hoover delivers. Fouls it off. 1 and 1 with that. Classic stance that you see from a lot of the Japanese baseballers with the bat out over the plate. Comes set, and he lines this one into right field. That will get down. Jarek Suter tries to barehand it. It gets by him and goes all the way to the wall. As Nishiura motors for third. I think that will be scored as a hit with an error as Suter tried to barehand the ball as it came to him. And it went under him, took a hop and went all the way to the wall.
Well, he would have got, certainly would have got the single. Would he got the double on it? Debatable, but he certainly wouldn't have got to wouldn't have got a triple out of it. So he's got a free base out of there because of the ball not being fielded. So
2 out. Luke Hughes steps in,
and I don't see any error showing up on the board as yet. Hard hit to third, picked up, comes across the diamond. 1 run will score, but the out is made at first. No run will score because it's 2 down. So
that's 3 down.
3 down now, and Canberra, well. Canberra doing very Canberra things at the moment was. I'm impressed by the sharpness of the fielding early in the season. And again, this is, I think, again, for Canberra, most unusual to have the squad together for a few weeks, which they've had this time around. A couple of these players have been in town for about 3 weeks. Most of them have been here for more than 7 days. But also had 3 practice matches last weekend on their own diamond. Traditionally for Canberra, practice matches have been played away from home. So a really different build-up, but I think it's paying dividends for this home side at the moment. Up against the Melbourne side, just a little bit rough around the edges in some places.
As well, Chris, you love to see hits from the lower order. A hit for Robbie Perkins and a walk. Cam Warner with a single and a home run. You getting hits and getting guys on base from your 7, 8, 9 hitters makes the rest of the job a lot easier.
Well, that was the first throw we've seen across the diamond from Cam Warner tonight. Unusual, you get to the 5th inning in a game. The third baseman's been involved in 3 outs, 2 of them
Well, two of them were put outs.
Yeah, put outs.
Well, assists. One was the one where Hoover had Delman Young caught down after he got that chopper. But, of course, Taylor Colway with the absolute rocket in from centre field. Cut off by Zach Wilson. Textbook.
So it's taken up until, the last out in the top of the 5th for Cam Warner to register a 5-3 play.
And here we go. Bottom of the 5th, Jerick Suter, the right fielder, he comes in. He's 0 for 2. He has a fly to right, and he hit one straight up that Alan Dean Sam Miguel took care of in the 3rd. He will want to hit. He will want to atone for his error out in the field just then. Mitchelson, he's on the rubber for the Aces and delivers. And there it is, called strike 1. So for the first time tonight, Jerick Suter will see more than one pitch. He went after the first pitch both times. Maybe that was an instruction from Keith Ward. Mitchelson again. There he goes. He swings at the second one.
He's doubled his pitch count for tonight as a batter.
Fouls off the high and inside. Count is 0-2. Mitchelson delivers, and he tries to get him to chase the breaking ball, and Suter holds off. 1-2. Oh. Canberra all of a sudden, the bats have come alive. And Suter chases that curve on the outside, swinging for strike 3.
Well, that was the real, I regret this swing, wasn't it, from Suter? As the bat came down off the shoulder, it was the real, I regret what I'm doing, but I can't stop it now. And it became a very half-hearted affair by the time the bat got to the front edge of home plate. And
that's the problem being in that 1 and 2 spot, is you've got to know to go. And all of a sudden, Mitchelson with that, it's a high sidearm as he delivers. And there's a high breaking ball on Kyle Perkins. So you're thinking fastball. You're thinking 1-2 fastball, and then all of a sudden the curve, and you're through it before it's there. On the outside again, this one misses. Count is 1-1 on Perkins. Mitchelson delivers. Breaks too early. Perkins lets that one go through. 2-1. Hits that along the ground. Mitchelson, it comes off the heel of his glove, but he still picks up and fires over to Hughes. Out number 2.
Well, I think for Kyle, while it's an infield out, the fact that he got some bat on it and got it back straight up the middle of the diamond, maybe with not the power that he wanted, but certainly be happy with that than a strikeout. And he's had the 2 strikeouts from his first 2 at-bats, so he won't be complaining too much at this stage.
He's building. He's building.
It's only early.
Chucky Robinson. I tell you what, this man already is the front runner for my favourite name on this team this year. Mitchelson. He's got that breaking pitch on the outside.
I have heard the cavalry horn, the cavalry charge horn go when Robinson was in the box last weekend, and was immediately followed by a Chucky as opposed to a charge. So he's already got a bit of a fan following here as he takes the next one. The count now 1-1. Two is Robinson really treating this like batting practice, and the Cavalry can do that a little bit now with a 7-run buffer in the bottom of the 5th. They can really go out there and
but he wants a hit.
Oh yeah, but
he hasn't had one yet.
They can go and chase the pitching a little bit now, can't they? As he does, and scoops this one from low and outside. Right field goes back and gets it on the warning track right in front of the scoreboard. But again, Robinson, that's his 2nd fly to right field tonight.
And that retires the side here. Bottom of 5. Canberra Cavalry 8, Melbourne Aces 1 here on Cavalry Live. I tell you what, that's the second one that Robinson's had that he's had caught on the warning track.
He's not far off. Who was it who had the 398 footer to centre field? That was Sano, wasn't it? Was it Sano?
Yes.
Or was it Hughes?
No, it was Hughes.
It was Hughes had the one to straight centre field that was caught 2 feet inside the fence. So we've seen plenty.
He's back out again, JJ Hoover.
What have you got for him by way of pitches for tonight? We don't have a live feed of our screen, so I can't tell you if our pitch counter is working on the screen tonight.
Our pitch counter seems to be working by inning.
Okay, so what have we got for?
A lot.
A lot? Okay. A lot for the total. All right. So the infield being dragged here, as we've had 5 innings in the books. The Cavs leading 8-1. What's caught your eye the most from the first 5 innings, mate?
The defense. I mean, you can talk about the home runs and the hitting, which is great. But as we talked about, the guys who've never played together, and all of a sudden you've got, you know, outfield assists game 1. You've got wonderful play from everybody. After a bit of a shaky start, JJ Hoover in that first inning where he threw, well, I'd say 27, 28 pitches. And all of a sudden, the trust with him and Robbie Perkins is building more and more, and you can see it as each innings progresses.
Well, this would be the first time they've worked together in a game situation, because Robbie wasn't here last weekend.
As you said, Alan D. San Miguel has been the #1 catcher, but Robbie Perkins is coming. So for the second inning tonight, Dylan Young is the leadoff hitter who fouls the first one back. Hoover. He comes set and fires. And there's your tradition. This is what I was talking about earlier. That is your traditional curveball. That one right there. Now let's see with 0-2 what Hoover goes with. Fastball on the outside gets Young swinging.
Well, bear in mind he went for the high late breaking ball the first time around for Delman Young. So canny pitchers don't go to the same well twice in a game, do they?
If the well's working, Chris, that's what you go to. If not, I'm sure someone as experienced as JJ Hoover has a few tricks. Quincy Lattimore, he singled the left in his last at bat. And Hoover lays off the curve. 1-0. I like Hoover. He's getting through his pitches quickly as he delivers. Lattimore can't lay off the second one, swings through it for strike 1.
Yeah, there's no time for a batter to regather after Hoover. He just gets up there, he's no nonsense. We've had a few pitchers do that over the years here in Canberra, but this guy, we should run a watch on it. We might do that. Bear with me while I navigate to the stopwatch on my new phone, on my new watch.
That's all right. You do that. Count is 2-1 on Lattimore. 1 out here. Top of 6. All of a sudden it's 3-1. He's missed on the outside on that one, but I think that's the thing with the pitcher, Chris. When you're in a rhythm and it's working, you want to keep going. When he was in the jams earlier, as he sets and fires, and that has been popped straight up by Lattimore. Geordie Barley, the second baseman, he's the one that's calling for it, and he takes it comfortably for out number 2.
Overran it by a step, but didn't let himself get flustered by that.
It went up a long way.
It did. Probably went up above the lights here. We've seen that happen occasionally here at MIT Ballpark. The floodlight towers aren't the tallest in the league, and those infield fly balls can go just above floodlight territory, and suddenly you lose sight of the ball, and you only get the chance to pick it up as it comes back in. So a good read by Barley to get himself almost in position and only go that one step over and cover it.
Cody Isano, he reached on the fielder's choice in the fourth when Hoover threw over to third to get Delman Young. Hoover sets and delivers. Sano along the ground straight to Hoover, who flicks it over to Zach Wilson for out number 3. The Melbourne Aces again retired in order. It is 8-1 here in the middle of 6 at MIT Ballpark on Cavalry Live.
Yeah, put that there. Have you tried the great? Yeah, I've tried it all.
So who are you backing in this game?
With their 3-point shooting.
Guys, relax. I got this.
Don't want to miss a second of the action this season? With Tabs Basketball Live Vision, you can stream games and access exclusive previews for free, anytime, anywhere.
Whoa, don't splash the box.
Yeah, don't splash the basketball.
Who are you backing this NBA season? Tab. Download the app today.
Bottom of the 6th here at MIT Ballpark. Canberra 8, Melbourne 1. Richardson still in the game for the Aces. He will face Robbie Perkins, Cam Warner, and Geordie Barley. The men who have done the damage so far for this Cavalry lineup.
And the 6th inning brought to you by Rolf Subaru, part of the Rolf Motor Group here in the nation's capital. And we thank Rolf Subaru and Rolf Motors for their ongoing support. They've been foundation sponsors of the Cavalry and stayed with us right across the 10 years.
Robbie Perkins with a single and a walk. In to face Mitchelson, who fires. Called strike 1.
And Perkins with a hit and a walk, so what's he got in the bag?
Smuts chopper. Here comes the third baseman, Mune.
He's having a night, isn't he?
Mune's had a couple of good plays over there at third. Ellis was charging in, but saw that Mune, he had the right of way. Got out of the way quickly. Cam Warner steps in. He's 2 for 2. And he takes ball 1. Still a lot of electricity in this ballpark. As he's hit it one towering to left field. It is foul, but he got all of that, Chris.
It's landed on the spectator walkway on the third base side of MIT Ballpark. So that's a nice piece for Cam Warner. Now his home run last time around was to right field, and now he sent a monster to the left field. Really starting to show that he can hit all around the park. So takes the next one high and inside. Gets the count going his way now. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Fouls it back to the screen. 2 and 2. There you are. I'm seeing error on the scoreboard. There's the error.
Oh, they have popped it there.
Yes.
It was erroneously on the other side for quite some time.
Oh, no, it would be both. It would be a hit and an error. Yeah. 2 and 2. And Warner has laced this. This is going to drop in left field, and he's got his 3rd hit of the night. And is now, if you're playing at home, a double. shy of the cycle. Have we had a cycle in cavalry history? Oh, he's not a double shy, sorry.
No, it's you.
Oh, I've got him confused with the next man. Here we go.
Barley's the man who's on cycle watch.
My apologies, I was
It's okay.
excited.
It happens, my friend. But he's had 2 singles to left field and a home run, and he is batting 1,000 to start the season. Cycles in the ABL they've been few and far between. I don't know if we've had any in at this ballpark. I certainly don't recall one.
Well, some of the things we have seen, we've seen a bloke play all 9 positions.
Mm-hmm.
And now, tonight, on opening night, back-to-back home runs.
We've seen an inside the park home run here in a championship series game 7 years ago, 7 seasons back. So if Barley gets the double here,
If he gets a hit, single or a double,
yeah.
he's got enough time.
But if he gets the double here, it really means that he can.
I
I don't think he'd bat for solo glory, but it does really give him a really good chance at it because he'll probably get 2 more at bats.
1-1 the count. Checks Warner at first. That breaking pitch outside misses. Count is 2 balls, 1 strike.
He's looked down the line to third base to Keith Ward. He's got a signal there. I think it's a different signal from Wardy this time.
2-1.
I'm no good at stealing signals. 2-1.
Am I banging on the counter? 2-1.
Allegedly not. Mitchison taking plenty of time between pitches here.
Hits that inside corner. Two and 2. Mitchison comes set. He delivers. And Barley has gotten under that one as well. This one isn't going to carry. Nishiura, the right fielder, he's underneath it for out number 2. As it's starting to cool down here at MIT Ballpark. Doesn't carry as far.
Barley will get 1 more at bat, certainly. He might get 2, but he'll require a little bit of help from other teammates.
That is his 4th at bat in the 6th inning. So he's doing all right. Taylor Colway, he steps in. He had the home run off Mitchison in his last at bat. See what he does this time. Warner is the runner at first. Called strike 1. Mitchison set. And he fires the fastball and Colway fouls that bat. Cam Warner is literally on the shortest lead that you can be on at first base. I literally think at one point,
step.
I literally think at one point he could fall and still have he could only his knees would be on the bag and the rest of him be in foul territory. Count is 0-2 on Colway. 2 out here. Mitchison delivers. Colway, he gets underneath that one, little tacker. The shortstop Ellis goes back and takes it, and that retires the side here in the bottom of the 6th. The good news is for the Aces, though, no more damage, but the score remains 8-1.
There's still time for them to dig themselves out of it. But they need to find a way to just chip away at it. Dan Vaughan, our great friend from Perth broadcasts in years gone by, had that theory about if you're 6 or 7 runs down, don't sit there and think about it as 6 or 7 runs down. Just chip away at it. Get 1 back. Get another 1 back.
You need 2 this inning. We don't need 7. We just need 2. Then we get 2 or 3 in the next inning. All of a sudden, it's a ball game.
It's certainly been a night for home runs. Opening night in the ABL. 4 of them in Tuatara Park over in Auckland. Coming off the bats of the Perth Heat batters Glendinning, Hall, Sizer and Johnson all going long in the first game at the new stadium.
I'm just looking at the young man, Chris, between second and third, taking his time, enjoying his run around the bases. Reece Neat.
This is going to be exciting.
He's out of the bullpen. That is a night for JJ Hoover. Gave up one in the first. Had a situation / jam, however you want to call it. Went 6 innings. 7 hits. 1 run.
So we welcome this man to the Cavalry. Reece Neat, a man previously associated with the Brisbane Bandits, but making the move south this year. Going from memory, one of the very early signings announced for the Men in Orange in relation to this season. Just showing how this club becoming perhaps a club of choice for players. And you look at who else has joined up this season. Team Australia starter Dusan Ruzic coming on board. So much pitching talent this season that Steve Kent may well, after being a starter and setting the league on fire in many ways, and then in the past couple of seasons, will find himself coming out of the bullpen this year.
No.
Nice to have depth.
No. Depth, yes.
Nice to have depth. Well, it's won championships for Brisbane. It's won championships for Brisbane in the past few years. They've been able to change the pitching, even bring on a pitcher, a specialist for one guy, and go to someone else. Something that perhaps we haven't quite had much of there, as the first pitch from Reece Neat to Mitchell Ellis draws a strike. But it's something we haven't quite had in Canberra in past seasons. Is the one area I think that this season there's more of. Real depth in the bullpen.
As Chris Coleman says, that 2 pitches into the first bullpen pitcher of the year. We'll
Stays.
remember that for the hot takes. 1-1 is the count on Ellis.
Well, you know, I do get the advantage of occasionally having a chat with some of the owners of this club. 1-1 the count.
Fouled back to the screen.
And that's not just when I'm lying in bed talking to myself at night either.
Good bullpen. 37 sheep. Good bullpen. 1-2. Stop talking, Warwick. Reece Neat on his Cavalry debut. He pitches to Ellis. Good hold by Ellis. Good hold. 2-2. Here we are in the top of the 7th. As Ellis fouls off another one to stay alive. And this is obviously Melbourne have to start turning around, but this is bat. If Ellis can get on here, if he can see he's already up, this will be pitch number 6 of this at bat. If he can see 6 or 7 pitches here and get on base, that's what Melbourne want.
Well, it's the pitching change, isn't it? It's the chance to hit the reset button.
2-2. And Ellis gets under one out to right field, but there is Jarek Suter.
Gee, he judged that well, didn't he?
He did indeed.
You know, you see some outfielders who go hell for leather and try and get themselves set to pause underneath it and take the catch. Then there's like that from Jarek Suter. He started off at pace, got a good beat on the ball, and just slowed down his running pace so that he just met the ball without breaking stride. It was great. Great baseball.
Alan D. San Miguel. He comes in. There's a strikeout and a fly out. As Nick delivers. Neat. Sorry, Reece. Owen won the count. Neat fires again. And there it is.
Well, he might be in a new uniform, in a new ballpark, on a different mound, but he looks right at home. D. San Miguel on an 0-2 count. The first 2 pitches you send to him in a season, you've got to be happy.
So far, 8 pitches, 6 strikes. And then I may have put the mocker on him. Just a bit outside.
For those of you playing along at home, our first Major League reference for the year.
1-2 the count on D. San Miguel. Neat fires. D. San hits that. One hop. Geordie Barley with the pickup over to Wilson. And that's the same thing. Except on the infield, Chris. You see that? That was a hard hit ball from D. San Miguel. And Barley, instead of trying to wait it on it, made sure he had it there.
And kept moving. Important. You get the ball in the glove. You don't just stop dead. You keep moving. Help to absorb that impact. You know you've got plenty of time from there. He's only got to throw it 45 feet from where he fielded that. Maybe 50, but...
I know we're only 6 2/3 through on the defensive side, but so far this fielding from Canberra, other than the one glaring error, as Neat delivers to Jared Dale outside, sharp.
What I was saying before about the error, and you can't see that column on the scoreboard, on the ballpark scoreboard, for quite some time it was saying error for the away team and not for the home team, and I was confused. That was my reference before. I should probably clarify that, but yeah.
1-0 to Dale. Neat delivers. He gets it in there. 1-1 on the called strike. Well, it's opening night for everybody, Chris.
It is. It is. And trust me, there's been an awful lot going on at this ballpark. I think there were people here until about 2 a.m. last night.
Well, I turned up and there were still people going as Dale swings at that one, and the count is now 1-2. Well, all of a sudden, I was just used to be you and me in here, and now there's people everywhere and TVs. I love it. 1-2 is the count.
I wish you'd been here about an hour earlier. We could have used your hand. We were pushing one of those camera platforms into place.
I'm fine. There's the pitch, and that's low and outside.
I mean, look, I know that hard work fascinates me. I can watch other people do it for hours on end.
Mate, look at the threads. Does it look like I'm pushing anything? No.
Well, I don't know. You're in the overalls.
Don't knock the clothes. 2-2. 2 out here. Top of 7. Neat fires, and that is very close, but must have just missed. Umpire Riley Barrington having a great game tonight. Count is full.
So just learning something about beer from the effects microphone down there at ground level.
3-2. Here's the pitch. And along the ground, Cicchini, he fields it short on the 2-hop, fires over to Wilson.
Wow, he's got a gun of an arm. Did you see that throw?
I did indeed. I called it. And on the 6-3, that takes us midway through 7 here at stretch time at NIT Ballpark. Cavalry 8. Aces 1 here on Cavalry Live.
Yeah, put that there. Have you tried the grey cake?
Yeah, I've tried it all. So who are you backing in this game?
With their 3-point shooting.
Guys, relax. I got this.
Don't want to miss a second of the action this season? With Tabs Basketball Live Vision, you can stream games and access exclusive previews for free, anytime, anywhere.
Whoa, don't splash the box.
Yeah, don't splash the box.
Who are you backing this NBA season? Tab. Download the app today.
Come home to your Jarrah. For your kind of play, your kind of family, your kind of day, and your kind of neighborhood. We introduce your kind of community for your kind of value. South Jarrah-Bombra.
Back here after stretch time at MIT Ballpark. As I said, Canberra with a pair of 4-run innings in the 3rd and the 4th. They lead 8-1 over the Aces. Mitchelson is doing his job here. He's eating a lot of innings.
Horrible to have to do that on the first night of a season, but
he's saving he's helping John Deeble save the bullpen for later in the weekend.
Now, I've been slack. When did he come into the game? If you can just remind us of that in a second, as we see him.
He came in the fourth.
It was after one batter in the fourth, wasn't it?
I think it was after 1, 2. He came in after 4 because he gave up.
Oh, that's right.
He came up the back-to-backs first to Warner, then to Barley, and then Mitchelson came in the game. And the first one he saw was Colway, who put him into somewhere along the landing runways at Canberra Airport.
Yep.
As Gavin Cicchini steps in, he's 2 for 3, and he's got the green light. He swings through the first high one.
Yeah, Mitchinson's obviously in for a long relief role here because there is nobody up and moving in the Aces bullpen area.
And he fouls that one off. And those are, all of a sudden, as you said, Chris, earlier, you're up by a lot. It's late in the game. Cicchini looks like this at bat. 2 high ones that he wasn't swinging at earlier. Maybe he's just seeing what his timing's like now. Count is 0-2.
Well, he's 2 for 3 tonight. He's done his job.
Mitchelson delivers. And he just gets the toe of the bat on that. Ellis dives. It comes down, but
lost his footing.
No, he went down to his knee to get that ball. I think as he's popped up, the ball's popped out of his glove.
Yeah, I reckon he's lost his footing on the edge of the dirt there. Tough place to field just there at this ballpark. It does lip a little bit off the back of the dirt down into the grass.
But 0-2.
Oh, you've got to be ready for it.
And Cicchini.
What's he got? 2 triples. Are they giving that as a hit?
And I'm waiting for the official score ruling. I'm looking at the scoreboard. Zach Wilson steps in anyway. And he has gotten straight under that. He has popped that straight up. Ellis is going to... He's heading back into... And here he comes. And at the last second, that ball has tailed away, and Ellis has had a great effort.
Did it what? And what goes through your mind there? I think it's happened to everyone who's played baseball at some stage where you've had one that's come into your glove and it's gone out, and you're sitting there thinking, I should have fielded it. You know, sure as eggs, that the next one's going to come straight at you. And Ellis there, as he's getting in underneath it and he starts to see it tailing away, what would go through your mind? Just, no, got to get this one. Great focus from the young man.
Especially after the previous play.
Mm.
So 1 out. Jarek Suter. 2 flyouts and a strikeout. Mitchelson delivers.
You know the old saying he's a couple of axe handles across the shoulders?
Yeah, he's a big lad.
Yeah, wait till you see him up close. Wait till you see this man up close. He is massive across the shoulders, and he's like an inverted triangle. Comes right in at the waist. There's a lot of upper body strength there, and he's got hold of this, but it's going up high. It's going to go. Luke Hughes gets just inside the fence to it and takes the catch. So on a pop fly to first. When he gets corrected for direction, this man is going to send a ball into orbit.
No, I just loved it that you were so excited about the inverted triangle.
Yeah.
So we've had some good nicknames here. I think that one's going to stick.
Don't.
We've had the ticket inspector. The inverted triangle. Kyle Perkins. 0 for 3 tonight. He steps in. Cicchini is the runner at first. And that has been scored as a hit. I was waiting to see how that would have been scored, but hard to error Ellis there on that one.
Yeah.
Sam Miguel keeps it in front, and the count is 2-0.
Not sure who'll be happier about that going in the books as a hit, whether it'll be Ellis or Cicchini, because Cicchini will now be batting 750 after 4 plate appearances.
I think Cicchini had that good a jump, and with him having to go full stretch
Oh, yeah, it
to
would
his
have been.
left. I think Cecchini was going to beat it.
Yeah, if you called that an error, that would have been a really harsh call.
No.
And it's a difficult part of the ballpark to field, and it's what is it? It's with ordinary effort. That's the
Yes.
yeah. And he made more than ordinary effort to get to that.
2-0 the count on Kyle Perkins.
Yet to get on base.
And there it is. I don't know if someone's had a chat to him, but in his first couple of bats, Kyle Perkins was all over that pitch, and twice now in this at bat he's laid off it. 3-0. And there is no green light. 3-0.
3-0, 2 out.
And there is
Ball's in the dirt. Gets
ball
the walk.
4 all the way to the net as D. San Miguel chases, but Cecchini not interested. He just stands up at second. So the inning continues here in the 7th. Now there's some action down in the Aces bullpen.
We've got no chance, have we, of seeing who that is?
Nope.
Absolutely no chance of seeing who that is from here.
It's a baseball player, Chris.
Well, that'll work.
It's a man who plays baseball.
Did you see?
No. I can't.
Melbourne Cup Day. One of the newspapers at 3:26 in the afternoon.
Horse wins Melbourne Cup.
Yes.
It was like they pre-populated the headline to insert the winner later, but yes, no.
Horse wins Melbourne Cup.
Horse wins Melbourne Cup in a nail biter, I believe, was the headline.
Explains a lot because I'd backed the goat that came 22nd.
Anyway, Chucky Robinson, he's the man in. 2 out, 2 on. Cecchini at second. Kyle Perkins at first. Mitchelson inside. Robinson as well. He doesn't have a hit. He has 2 flyouts and a ground out. But they're deep flyouts. Both times, the right fielder, Nishiura, has had to take them on the warning track. And there's a curled strike. 1-1.
If Robinson gets on base, it'll mean that 8 of 9 Cavalry batters have made it on base tonight. The only one to miss out would be Jerick Suter.
You go tell him that.
No. I think he'll already be aware of that.
1-1 the count on Robinson. Mitchelson, he's set. And that's high and inside for ball 2.
So will Mitchelson see through the end of this inning? You'd think he would, wouldn't you?
Well, with 2 out, you'd hope. I think maybe John Deeble is hoping that he can get out of this inning and then bring on and start fresh in the bottom of the 8th. But may force his hand if Robinson can get himself on here. Here's the pitch. And that is a lovely, lovely, lovely curve.
That is a classic breaking ball, isn't it? Just sits there, just...
But it's the sidearm action,
Yeah.
Chris, and as well, if you have a look when Mitchelson delivers, the arm angle is not that much different from the fastball to the curveball.
It's not a lot, yeah. That's what every pitcher aims for and so few can achieve.
2-2.
Time called.
Third base umpire.
This is the special for Vin Scully fans. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on.
And inside. Count is full, so the runners will be moving on this one with 2 out.
So a reminder, it's Cecchini at second, Kyle Perkins at first. And Chucky Robinson looking to get on base for the first time in his ABL career.
Gets the sign from D. San Miguel. Comes set. There go the runners, and called. Strike 3 on Chucky Robinson.
I don't think Chucky was terribly happy about that.
What's the old saying? If it's close, you got to go.
Oh, you've got a bat.
2 strikes, protect the plate.
7 innings in the books here at MIT Ballpark. The home side leading by 7. We do it all again tomorrow night. 7 o'clock local time, the start here at MIT Ballpark. And our next home series, just getting in the advance plug for that, is in week 4. Sydney come here. That'll be a 7-7-7 Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon for the game against Sydney. If you're looking to fill in your diary for the remainder of the season, we then go back to 7-7-7-1 for week 5, which is when Brisbane. That's when Brisbane come to town. Week 7 when Adelaide come to town. It's 7-7-7-1. And then week 9, second last week of the regular season, when the Auckland Tuatara come to town, 7-7-7-7. Sunday night baseball when the Auckland Tuatara are in town, and that is going to be a very special weekend. There's a lot. I can't say too much. But there's a lot of special stuff planned for this ballpark that weekend.
I don't even know.
And I think our friends at NITV, and I can maybe let the cat out of the bag, that there's going to be a few of these games appearing on NITV in post-season recap form. They will particularly enjoy that weekend. You've been busting to say something at that point.
I'm just listening to you.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know what's going on here.
Yeah.
And I just work here.
Sometimes I get some stuff that I.
Big news today in the ABL though. Curtis Mead plays for the Adelaide Giants.
Yep.
And he was traded from the Phillies, who brought a lot of players over to the Giants, to the Tampa Bay Rays, who are of course affiliated with the Perth Heat.
Perth, yeah.
So I wonder if the what do you do? What happens if the Rays go all of a sudden, mate? Have we had an in-season trade in the ABL? I'm not saying it would happen.
There've been a couple of in-season trades.
Anyway,
We had a young fella from Canberra who ended up playing for Melbourne down the track a couple of years ago. Anyway, we have Reece Need on the bump.
Yuma Mune, the leadoff hitter. That one's inside.
So Mooney's had a walk, a single, and an infield out earlier this evening. And Melbourne do need to get runs on the board now into the 8th inning, trailing by 7. Another 2-0 count, but he can be patient here. And he is. Sends the next one high and outside. Goes to a 3-0 count.
Where has that ball come from?
That, I think, escaped from the bullpen. Not a bad throw from whoever's warming up down there in the bullpen.
3-0 the count. And that one's there from Neat.
Well, I think that may have been the fastball down the pipe.
Well,
not a bad time to pull one out of the pocket.
I don't think there's many men in this league that have a green light on 3-0. Mune, he gets under one, and that is to deep right field, but I think it is foul. First base umpire calling it foul. Oh, we've got a second, Chris. Why don't you tell us about our friend making his ABL debut at third base tonight, umpiring?
Umpire at third base. I don't know whether we've seen much of him on the screen tonight. We don't have a monitor accessible to us this evening. That hopefully changes tomorrow. But Josh Matavesi, member of the Canberra Cavalry Championship side 7 years ago, has transitioned over the last couple of years to an umpire's role. So doing plenty of local umpiring. In fact, did the dish last week for the practice game between the Cavalry and Korea's SK Wyverns. It called a really good game too. Well, tonight his ABL debut, his second ABL debut, of course played for the Cavalry, so made his ABL debut as a player years back, and now making his ABL debut as an umpire.
Count is full. Congratulations to Josh. Count is full on Yuma Mune. Reece Neat. He delivers. Fouled back. Count stays 3-2.
Well, Mooney showing us there on that previous hit, or the previous swing, that he's got plenty of power in there as well. I think that's the first real long ball we've seen from him. He had the single out to centre before, but that previous one that went foul, that was a monster hit. Count still full, no one on, none out, and another foul ball. Just into the top of the netting on the third base side. So they're trying to work Neat into a little bit of early season fatigue. I don't know how many more batters he'll get, although with this kind of a lead, it might be a chance for him to be the long reliever and save a few arms for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Fly ball goes to right centre field. It's going a long way back and has gone over the fence, over the Brett baseball sign. And so the Aces have their second run for the night, their first home run for the season. And it's to Yuma Mune, who has gone to about the deepest part of the park to put that one out of play, and another run onto the scoreboard. It's Canberra 8, Melbourne 2 in the top of the 8th.
Beautiful hitting there from Yuma Mune. On a full count, fouled a couple off, knew that he was just going to get a pitch that he could hit. Reece Neat gave him one and he didn't miss it.
Well, 3 pitches earlier, he'd given plenty of warning, hadn't he, that he had a lot up the sleeve. It wasn't something that was mentioned to me in a pre-game briefing about the Japanese that we could expect to see the long ball from him. It was more their speed around the bases.
Nishiura takes a called strike one.
Mune didn't have to show much speed around the bases, was able to jog it quite comfortably.
I think he was still motoring on his home run trot, mate. I tell you what, I don't even run the bases that fast anymore, and he was trotting. 1-1.
I think he might have a few years on you.
Oh, no, we'll leave it. 1-1 the count on Hayato Nishiura. And he lays off and fouls one the other way down the third base line. Count as 1-2.
That, I think, is our first ball into Sarge's Saloon. Not quite into the seat of the area, more into the barbecue pit, but it'll come up with grease and barbecue sauce later on. 1-2 the count now.
Neat delivers, and there's that high breaking pitch. Didn't get enough on it. Stayed high. None out. Top of the 8th. Neat misses again, and the count is full. I can't see Chris Cole. Can you have a look down and see if you can see the Cavalry bullpen?
No. I checked that out yesterday.
Neat. Delivers. Nishiura with the hop step foul.
There's a very large, very opaque black screen down at Cavalry bullpen. And even popping the binoculars on, all I can tell you is there is one bullpen pitcher sitting there with his feet up because I can see the soles of his feet. That is it. Don't ask me who it is from the shoes. I don't think he's wearing any Team Spencer shoes.
Payoff pitch. And that is inside for a walk to Nishiura. So all of a sudden, the philosophy that you brought about an inning ago, don't need to get 6 runs or 7 runs. Just need to get 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
Melbourne with none out. They've got 1 on the board, courtesy of a home run from Mune. And now all of a sudden, Nishiura draws the walk. Now you've got Hughes, Young, Lattimore. Neat. Checks Nishiura. Gets the strike call on Luke Hughes.
Well, I do love on social media when the ABL season starts up that we have some regular viewers who get in touch with us from all parts.
Neat delivers, and that's high 1-1.
We greet Shane, aka Dr. Miraculous, possibly the Montgomery Biscuits' biggest baseball fan in the world.
And we'll see some of those Montgomery Biscuits when Perth arrive later this season. 1-1. As Hughes fouls it off his foot. Well, no, we won't, because we only travel to Perth.
We only travel to Perth, and that's next week. But always nice to get the Happy New Year greeting from Shane, so thank you. And on the subject of cycles,
yes,
Martin has been in touch to say there was one for these days a cavalryman, but formerly of the Sydney Blue Sox. David Candelas got one in Melbourne in 2011, his second in the same year. He did it playing for the Rockies in minor league ball in July that same year, so that wasn't a bad year.
1-2 the count on Hughes. Nishiura at first, and Hughes swings through and strikes out. So that is the first out, and that's a nerve settler for Reece Neat.
You give up a home run and then a walk. Yeah, it's nice to strike out somebody, especially someone of the calibre of Luke Hughes. Now, Martin, I know being a proud relative of David Candelas, will be probably able to fill me into the rest of the story. I'm sure that he also got robbed of another cycle because he actually overtook a runner ahead of him at one stage.
Nishiura goes, and he's got such a great jump. Perkins doesn't even try.
Wasn't much point there. That's a great steal.
On ball one in the dirt. Delman Young. So now all of a sudden it extends the innings. It takes away the double play ball.
Mm-hmm.
Reece Neat steps off. Comes set. Checks Nishiura at second. Delman Young gets under this, and he has got a lot of this, and that one is over the fence and gone, and all of a sudden, off the 2-run home run by Delman Young, it is now 8-4.
I reckon you could almost take that, superimpose it onto Yuma Mooney's one from about 10 minutes ago, and they would look remarkably similar. They landed about the same spot. They went over about the same part of the fence. And 8-4, well, the 4-run lead, as we know, can be overcome in a fairly short period of time. The Aces doing the right thing, chipping away. They've put 3 on the board. They've only got the 1 out. And there is a little bit of movement down there. A message has just been sent down the left field line to the Canberra Cavalry bullpen.
It's not a message, it's Keith Ward walking up the line. He's the one that is delivering the message. As here is Quincy Latimer. He has a hit tonight in 3 trips. Neat gets it in there for strike 1. Chipping away. He gets underneath that one, Latimer. He's not happy with himself as he shakes his head. And the right fielder, Jarek Suter, he takes the catch again. And there are 2 out here in the top of the 8th, but Melbourne have put 3 on.
Reece Neat will want this one, and I just wonder who the closer will be for the Cavalry tonight, whether there's a change in tactic now. Whether there was one man in mind and now it'll be somebody else.
Called strike on Cody Aisano. This is the most batters that Melbourne have put up in an inning tonight. They did put up 5 in the first, and they did put up 5 in the fourth. This is batter number 6 this inning, and that one was high and inside. Sano ducks under it, 1-1. Neat comes set and delivers, and that's low and outside for ball 2. Two and 1.
It's just that little edge around the ballpark at the moment.
And he fools him with the breaking pitch. Sano swings through hard, mightily. All he felt was the whoosh. 2-2.
There's just a little bit of nervous energy around at the moment.
Well, there always is when all of a sudden in the space of about 3 minutes, your 7-run lead gets cut to 4. 2-2.
Foul ball.
Sano fouls it off down the third base line. Canberra fans holding their breath. They want to get out of this inning. Two and two. 2 out. Nobody on for the Aces. Caught a quick spark of life here in the top of the 8th. 3 runs in already. As Sano swings at the big breaking ball and misses, and that is strike 3 for Reece Neat, but not before Melbourne do some damage. They tack on 3, and the score is now Canberra 8, Melbourne 4, midway through the 8th inning.
Canberra will be thinking about how they can possibly stretch it out just a little bit. But they also might be thinking we're only 3 outs away from getting that first win of the season. So an extra insurance run here in the bottom of the 8th would be nice. The men tasked with bringing that up, that'll be
Robbie Perkins.
Yeah, Robbie and Cam. And then Geordie Bailey, who sadly won't get a chance to get, Geordie Barley rather, sadly won't get the chance to get his cycle here unless something truly extraordinary happens. By way of the 8th inning, going long, or Melbourne coming back and tying things up, and Canberra having to bat through and Barley getting another crack in the 9th. So I can't see that as a possibility. As the sounds of Sweet Caroline ring out around the ballpark. Bit of a change for us here. That's been played in the past off the back of Take Me Out to the Ball game in the...
Is that John Kennedy?
7th inning? I think it is. The big lefty.
Number 40? John Kennedy. A name very familiar in Australian baseball. Big, tall left-hander. He's on the pitch and he will face the righties, Perkins, Warner, Barley. Perkins 1 for 2. He also has a walk as well, so he's doing very well tonight. Cam Warner 3 for 3. Kennedy, he is looking good, but the aces, there's a spark of life. Robbie Perkins, he steps into the box. And here we go, fans, hold on. This game may have another turn in it yet. Kennedy set. And he delivers, but it is low and ball one to Robbie Perkins. I don't know. Kennedy delivers again. Perkins gets under that out to right field. Nishiura makes some excellent ground to take the catch in right field. Maybe 6 or 7 steps in from the right field line. And there is one away here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Cam Warner, he steps in. He is 3 for 3 tonight. He has 2 singles and a home run. And Kennedy, he delivers again. Cold strike one on the outside. Kennedy set. And Warner, he swings through that one and is quickly down 0-2. Something he hasn't been all night. And we'll see what happens. Kennedy delivers. There's the breaking pitch off the end of Warner's bat. He is making some serious speed for first, and he is going to get there for a 4-hit night.
Well, you can't really argue with that opening night of the season. You come out, you get the pressure of Wasdradamus put on you when he says in your first at-bat that you might be in for a breakout year, and you come out there and you go, single, home run, single, single. He's overcome all sorts of odds tonight, not the least of which is the weight of carrying your expectations was. He's done well.
It's got nothing to do with me, mate. That's just good hitting 0-2. And Moller, as you said earlier, I can't even remember who the hitter was at the time. Wasn't the best piece, but he legged it out. John Kennedy, for a big man, he moves, but he just couldn't get a handle on the ball. And Warner the runner on first, 1 out. And here comes Geordie Barley for his 5th at bat of the night. He's 2 for 4. Fouls that one back.
Well, John Kennedy, another of the players in the ABL this year who's coming in off the back of a Premier 12 campaign and had a tremendous game over there in the...
Barley has gotten under that. The left fielder out there, he's underneath it. That is Lattimore, Quincy Lattimore. And all of a sudden, Cam Warner is going to be... Oh, no, the ball's gone
free.
But they still doubled him up.
Well, it's one of the more unusual double plays.
What, 7 to 3 to 1?
7 to 3 to 1, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he thought Barley had more on that than he did.
Well,
and maybe he thought it was over the left field. Maybe it was going to drop. And the left fielder Lattimore, he came charging in, and all of a sudden, we're into the top of the 9th inning.
It doesn't matter much. Now it goes down in the scorebook as a double play.
And here comes the call to the bullpen.
We'll find out who is going to get the closer's job here for the night for the Canberra Cavalry in just a couple of moments as we take a break shortly for our friends at Village.
Come home to your Jarrah. For your kind of play, your kind of family, your kind of day, and your kind of neighbourhood. We introduce your kind of community for your kind of value. South Jarrah.
Takamasa Kasai. How did I go?
Close.
Takamasa Kasai?
Let's just go with Kasai.
Kasai? He is the man on the bump.
As our partnership with the Cavalry partnership, I should say, with the Yokohama DNA Bay Stars continues into its second year. And Takamasa Kasai.
I think I was better than you.
Quite possibly.
Well, he's the man anyway that's been Kasai. He's the man that's been tasked to close this out. 8-4. Ellis de San Miguel Dale. Unless John Deeble decides to throw in a pinch hitter, which could happen, especially if they get early runners on. Critical for Melbourne that one of these first two batters gets on.
So we have Kasai, Anuki, and Sakaguchi. Now I'm trying to remember here. I was told, I can't remember which one was which. I think Sakaguchi, otherwise known as the Gooch, I think he's been clocked at 153 Ks. And I think Kasai clocked at 154.
Not bad, as Mitchell Ellis will step in to face Kasai.
He's only young. What's 154? About
95, 96?
Yeah.
Fouls it back. Great partnership with the Yokohama DNA Bay Stars. Guys we saw here last year. Of course, the retirement of Kuki Ayagi a couple of weeks ago. Announced his retirement. He was here last year as it's 1-1.
I think Makami's actually been released by Yokohama just recently. But I think he's also taking a trip to Australia soon, so you never know. He might see him as a spectator before the end of the season.
Ellis swings through that one. 1-2.
Certainly plenty on the fastball here from Kasai.
Where's your friend that gets the speed? Get him on it. 1-2. Kasai delivers. Foul tip caught by Perkins for out number one.
Canberra looking to wrap it up here with de San Miguel, the next man in.
Well, it'd be better. It's good to see that on opening night this year they have a chance to go better than they did in the opening series in Melbourne last year.
True.
De San Miguel. Kasai's already ready. He's got the signal and he... As de San Miguel swings through. Misses on that one. But look at Kasai. He's ready. De San Miguel hasn't even stepped back into the box yet. And Kasai's ready.
He's set. I've just said something very interesting about one of Canberra's pitchers.
Phil Pfeiffer.
Sent to me, yeah. Phil Pfeiffer.
Yeah, added to the 40-man roster for the Braves yesterday.
So get out of the ballpark and see that man throw this summer.
1-1. Count on de San Miguel. Kasai with the big breaking pitch. Didn't do enough. Probably missed high. 2-1. Alan de San Miguel. He's ready. That's high. 3-1. Here we go, because I see on deck, I see somebody else for Melbourne. That is not Jared Dale.
Keep an eye on it as de San Miguel takes the next pitch low and away. So he gets a walk. So it's still a 4-run cushion. 1 out, 1 on now. Jared Dale being given an early mark. And I'm just going to see if we've been advised of all the numbers. Our numbers were missing a few prior to the game starting tonight. And I got a late addition with a couple of other names attached to it. So stand by. Let's go with Willis. Colin Willis is the man. On the left hand, batting lefty. So let's see what he's got. First pitch, moving away from him, but still called as a strike by Riley Barrington.
Sam Miguel leads away from first. Ellis tried to check it, but he was too far into it. And all of a sudden, he's down 0-2.
We haven't seen a lot of checked swings tonight, have we?
It's only week 1, game 1. Give it time. It'll grow. 0-2. And he gets under it, Ellis. Cole Perkins back in left field, just checking how far he has to go. Plenty of room. Takes the catch in left field as D. San Miguel trots back to first, and all of a sudden, it is 2 down.
Willis, welcome to the ABL for season 19-20. And a fly out in left field, and is that the first catch that Cole Perkins has had to take out there in left? I reckon it is.
He's fielded a few.
He's fielded a few, but I reckon it's the first catch he's had to take out there. Cavalry 1 out away from a win. Can they wrap it up here?
Mooney. Ball 1. He of course had the giant home run over the right foot, just to the left of the scoreboard here in right centre last time up.
Was his bigger or was Young's bigger? I reckon Young's was a tiny bit bigger. Be interesting to put them up side by side.
1-0. Kasai delivers, and that's inside.
If he does it again now, it's a 2-run game.
I think John Deeble would just be very happy with him on base. 2-0. 3-0. That is Hayato Nishiura on deck. And then, of course, if we get that far, Luke Hughes, he's got a helmet on. 3-0 is the count. And there it is.
3-1. So Kasai not rattled.
And if you have a look, they're not even interested in trying to hold D. Sam Miguel on. Wilson is just fielding his position as Kasai delivers. Fouled off by Mooney.
And dropped by the man in the saloon.
Well, you'd hope after 8 innings, you'd hope that there'd be a couple of drops.
At least he's paying attention over there.
At least he's having a good night in the saloon. Count is full.
2 outs, 1 on. 4 runs the difference. Is this the last pitch of the first game of the season for the Cavalry and the Aces?
Nope.
There'll be at least 1 more.
Hey, Alan D. San Miguel with the great jump on 3-2. Back he goes. Three balls, 2 strikes. On Yuma Mune. He's 2 for 4 tonight. Kasai delivers. And he swings through and misses. Strike 3. Ball game. Cavs 8. Aces 4.
The Canberra Cavalry, they get the win in the first game of the 2019-2020 Australian Baseball League season. Vital numbers for tonight. For the home side, it was 12 hits to register those 8 runs. For the away side, it was 9 hits to register the 4 runs. The highlight of the night for the Canberra Cavalry fans, and possibly for the highlight reel for quite some time to come, the real purple patch in the 4th inning, when Robbie Perkins was already on base after getting a walk, and then Cam Warner, Geordie Barley, and Taylor Colway went yard, and went yard. And
Back to back.
It's an amazing thing to watch here as the Canberra Cavalry make their way off the diamond. We'll come back to wrap up the details in just a moment here. But it's been a big win to the Canberra Cavalry on a big opening night at MIT Ballpark. They've picked up a win, 8 runs to 4. We'll be back to wrap the game up after these words from our sponsors at Abode.
Behind these doors, people are home. Resting, settling in, laughing. These are more than just hotel rooms. They are spaces for living. It's a home away from home, your own abode.
So the Canberra Cavalry pick up the game by 8 runs to 4. And JJ Hoover picking up the Canberra Cavalry Award for Player of the Match tonight. Gee, can I say he pitched well, but how tough is that for Taylor Colway, who?
He had an outfield assist,
yeah,
a brilliant screamer of a catch.
Yep.
A home run on his opening night here in Canberra that probably still hasn't landed.
Yep.
But there were so many.
There's plenty of others in there.
You could literally say there's 6 or 7 guys that deserve this tonight.
Well, Cam Warner goes
for 4.
4 for 4, scores 2 runs himself.
Has 2 RBI.
There's a couple of RBI in there as well. In fact, more than that, I think.
Anyway.
Oh no, he had 2 RBI. Yeah, sorry, I'm having. As I said, we don't actually have computerised numbers here, so I'm having to add up mentally on the way through. But yeah, went 4 for 4 tonight. Was involved in a couple of good plays in the infield as well. But that is a good sign. We're debating who should get Player of the Match.
Exactly.
That is a great sign for the Canberra Cavalry on opening night. Quick look at Melbourne tonight. Well, what do you say? Yumamune, big home run, and another big home run to Delman Young. But really for Melbourne, it was a case of too few and too far between, I think, tonight.
And as well, having 3 runners picked off on the base paths. And Mune at second. And then you had Delman Young at third. And you also had, I think it was Lattimore was picked off at third as well.
Well, it was back-to-back, wasn't it? Yeah. Young then Lattimore back in the 4th inning. And that really, probably the turning point of the game. That was where Canberra had put 4 runs on in the bottom of the 3rd. And Melbourne just seemed to buckle a little under the pressure there in the top of the 4th, and then Canberra came out and whacked a few more on in the 4th.
Runners at 1st and 3rd with none out, and all of a sudden you get out with no runs and then tack on another 4.
Indeed. Well, we'd like to thank you for your company tonight. That's 1 down. We've got 20 home games here at MIT Ballpark, and the Canberra Cavalry looking pretty good after the first one of them. We'll be back on deck for game number 2 of the ABL season, 7 o'clock Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Tomorrow, adjust for your local clocks wherever you may be. 7 o'clock again on Saturday night, and then 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. But a great success for the Canberra Cavalry in their 10th season to open things up with an 8 run to 4 victory over the Melbourne Aces. Warwick Petherbridge, thank you very much.
Thank you as always, Chris.
A big thank you to all our friends, our sponsors across the course of the evening, and of course to our production team at Nimic Productions, and on behalf of everyone at the Canberra Cavalry and the Australian Baseball League, thank you very much for your company tonight. This is Chris Coleman signing off from MIT Ballpark.
Hermes' girlfriend threw that on the field, so we now no longer have a football.
Yeah, she's in the doghouse tonight.
Sorry to keep you. Hey guys, Michael here from Canberra Cavalry. We're joined here with player of the match, JJ Hoover, and JJ's first performance here in Cavalry colours. JJ, how'd you find conditions here tonight?
That was awesome. The crowd was great, and just to be able to get the season on a good start and with the first victory, it was awesome.
Obviously, you only threw for one run tonight, and you I think threw for 15 first strikeouts in a row. How much confidence does that give you going forward?
It helped getting ahead of the batters. Needed to stay away from some of the 3-2 counts, but the offense putting up 8 runs really allowed me to settle in and be able to attack the zone.
Of course, building now to the next 2 weeks, you go to Perth and to Auckland. It's a big travel period. So how does the team adjust and bond through this?
Well, I think we already have a pretty good cohesive unit here. The team's great. I feel like all the guys are getting along well, and I think travel brings guys together even more because we'll spend more time together.
Perfect. Well, that's everything from us. So look forward to next week against Perth, and we're back here in 2 weeks' time against the Sydney Blue Sox. See you then, guys. Well, first time I've ever been in front of a camera doing that, so...